Okay, so I was looking at my inventory a bit. I know it's kind of spread out everywhere. Real men do not use barrels. They throw everything on the ground and then just stare at it. Okay, that's why. So I was looking around and I was looking at the matter fabricator and looking at the energy flow circuits. They are the main inhibitor right now. Also, the Laptronic energy orb is also a major inhibitor. But anyways, we got the highly advanced machine circuits, but unfortunately it seems we're going to need two iridium plates. That'll require an implosion compressor. I'm not going to worry about that because still we only have one platinum ingot, which is not exactly happy times on the hill. So what I'm going to do are two things. One, quickly hook in this stuff, the industrial electrolyzer, to a better network of awesomeness and maybe use the correct wrench. There we go. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And also, I know it's going to be energy lossy, but however, I want to go and use the correct wrench again and pick these two up and move the energy to a different, dang it, move the energy to a different location. So we got our MFE. We'll put our centrifuge down. Our other MFE disappeared down a hole. So I'll grab that. And we still have our MFE on. So the reason we want to move this is so when we finally add the energy to them, we should be good. And we want to have it in a nice expandable, extendable state of extendableness. So we'll just maybe put the stuff here instead. What I want to check first is how far down the rabbit hole we're going to have to go to meet our maker of stuff. Okay, around here. So if we were to put our energy back up through the wall, we are going to need to go up in that direction. So let's see. We got a lot in our MFE. MFSU. We're going to have it sit there for a bit, and that is going to be a bit of an issue, I can tell, in the merry old future, because having two things interconnected is not generally a nice thing to have. So if we just move this up like so and go up again, let's see. So once we put the we don't want the MFEs right away. We also need to have another thing, which is going to just be a simple transformer. Thankfully, we have enough gold excess materials here. Let's go for another transformer just in case, because we might outlive two transformers. Or one transformer. I don't know. I don't write this script. Okay, so let's make our two simple transformers, which are evidently not being simple for me. Okay, medium voltage transformer is a go. And we'll have it here. And we'll have one for here as well. Though that is not necessary, is it? Let's go. One here. Because it is definitely going to be easy on me. Up. Nope. Hup! There we go. And we'll need to shift click this so it's in the right direction. And we're also going to need to do it for the other side as well. Site, rather. And that'll be for here and here. The reason we want to have two is because of that limit that we will have eventually once we get to that stage in our base design. So let's see. Cobble. Let's cobble it. Cobble it all together and then go onwards to some mighty fun adventures. So we have this, and we'll just take the fiber down again and put it so it's like this, so we can finally put our MFE down. So our MFE will contain all of our badassery stuff that will be needed. So it'll start charging rather quickly from all the energy that it's going to be getting. So now we have all of this stuff, which I think there's a transformer, or rather this might be all we need to do. Okay, standing back, and these are going to be acting as buffers to prevent any sort of mayhem that may or may not result in any sort of explosion that may prove kind of sucky, honestly. So we have our blast furnace, that's good, and now we can reaffirm our industrial electrolyzer, and maybe, Put it right next to it, or put it on tier? Put it where it was before? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So there's a few problems maybe with this. It's the fact that, well, it's easily accessible. The MFEs are easily accessible and easily pickaxeable, so I'm not going to do that. But by easily accessible, it might be a problem if a swarm of creepers come in. That being said, I am not exactly designing this base for swarm of creeperdom, so I think I should be okay. And it seems like, well, these compressor and the centrifuge had to go on an extended stay in Uberdom. So anyways, so where are we going to put our industrial electrolyzer? We're going to have a probably a different room for industrial electrolyzers at a different point. That is different if I don't say so myself. But we'll just keep that there, and the extended cell family that will be needed. And maybe we can put these hydrogen cells. That thing is full. I don't want to use that thing because it's full. So I'm just gonna centrifuge this stuff. It's not going to be too much of a hassle having to recreate it at the end of the entire extended stay. But anyway, so what are we going to do now? So we have our sorting system here, and it's pretty good. Now, what I'm thinking is we should make it even better by adding some appendages to it. So what I mean is a way to automatically uh, combine all of our dusts, because that is a main hindrance that we have. All of these small dusts are going to take up room in an otherwise, well, good system. And frankly, tiny dusts are tiny, therefore it's kind of bad to have. And it's one of the main stepping stones we will have to get around when we go for an industrial grinder for every single ore solution. So we will want to get that. So we're going to need a few things. One of the things is obviously the sorting machine that we have here. Maybe you can throw in some of this other junk. There you go. There. Ha ha! Watch me now, sucker! So, let's see. We have a few things that we're going to need for our sorting machine. It needs to be able to sample every single dust. So what I'm thinking is probably the best way to go about it is by just accessing the area over here, and there's going to need to be at least two sorting machines if I am thinking coherently. One of them is going to be routing stuff in towards the main assembly line, so we'll probably have that here. Assuming that this barrel network doesn't actually interact with it, that would be a problem. So what I think I'm going to do is take this barrel out of here. It's going to have some cobblestone, but I can live with all that spillage at another time. Ooh, look, coal! And then we'll put it here as a connecting barrel between the portions, and we'll just put the mighty cobblestone of cobblestoneness over there so that the router cannot indirectly affect... Oh gosh, one of these glitches again. Be right back. As I was saying, we'll do that to avoid the potentially nasty situation of having stuff block up on us. So we're going to make a few filters first of all, and I'm thinking since we should have enough wires, let's go with, yeah, we could always make some more blue alloy ingots at a later point in time, so we're not going to worry about that part of the system. So we're just going to wait for a bit of cooking up. I'm just going to wait for one extra so we can make one sorting machine and have this going pretty much without a hitch. There we go. We'll have two sorting machines here. Two! There we go. And then we're going to need to wire up the energy reserves that we will need. So as I was saying, we don't want, because it doesn't use ghost items, there's always the possibility that somehow it will interact in a horrible way. Why does this always happen to me? Now that we know it's pretty much all my fault for whatever reason, we can go start powering up our sorting machine. And this sorting machine, it's only really going to be grabbing in one of each of the dusts, so we won't need to worry about setting it into any sort of composite mode that may be there. So, did I get something from it? Yes, I did. Okay, so if we set this filter up so that it only accepts cobblestone, we'll see how well that actually works out for us. Do we get anything else in the system? Doesn't look like it, though I have been proven wrong on numerous points of time. So I think this is good. So we're going to need to have a few separate things. Okay, it does seem like it is working out well. So now we want to keep this as modular as humanly possible, so we will need to have it keep up with the paces, so to speak, and have an access to the chest that will be accessible by the tube right there. So we'll need a way to get to the tube. Eventually, that's going to be a very fun time indeed because it'll require quite a bit of tube routing, actually. Wait a second. Do we have any brass that is cooking up in here? Let's get some of that. And apparently the flint really loves me. Okay, we have quite a bit of brass. I think 10 brass will be enough for all the tubes that we will or will not need. So throw this in here. We might as well just have some extra glass, just to be a bit merry and everything. And throw that there. Okay, so we got some pneumatic tubes, and what this will need to go to, I think it'd probably be best to upgrade our chest to a bit of a non-standard iron chest, so that we'll have it as a double chest instead of the regular singular chest. Regular singular chest. Not a regular singular point. No. No, I'm away from math already. Dang it, stop it, stop it, no. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, you are lucky. So, let's get in a bit of room here, and apparently our base is going to need a few minor modifications because it is sticking out a bit. It is an outie. So, we'll have to have the stuff go into here, I think. Let's put this chest in the meantime. And we'll have to have the chest be able to be pulled out. The stuff, at least in the chest, to be pulled out of here. So we will need another sorting machine to pull stuff out 4 at a time. And if we have this here, maybe we should have it modular. I don't know how modular. You know, there are so many chests that can be, so many combinations that can be satisfied just by one sorting machine, so I don't think it'll be necessary to have any extra. So when you get this, it's going to need to throw the stuff at the top, I believe, of any sort of machine. Let's see. Let's go grab ourselves one of those handy dandy craft packager things. Okay, so we'll need to have our 2 crafting tables and 2 pistons, right? Right. It's great. So first of all, one of these. Hope I don't craft too many of them. And then one of these. And there, presto changeo. We got that changed. Oh, and is it at the bottom or the top? We'll soon find out. And son of a gun. We got more cobble. Who would have thunk it? Okay, so we got it the right side. Maybe. Let's use a filter to test this. It's either from the bottom or the top. So might as well try it now. Let's just... Nope, that is not what we want to do. There we go. And the top works. So filling it in from the top will work. And this will package all of the dust that we need. So the dust will go into here. Then need to get pulled out of here. And if it gets pulled out, it'll just require a sorting machine. And if we pull it right down, that will work. Okay, so sorting machine will put in the other direction, or rather pull, and this one will just pull everything out automatically. So if we have this thing here, all that will be left is getting power to this monstrosity, which I suppose we could put it like that. Okay. we have like that and that, and if we had another machine, I'm going to put another sorting machine just for now, and by putting one now, we'll be able to easily expand it upon later. Okay, I guess we're going to grab all of them. Why not? It's not like I only want to roll out a bit of the red carpet. Okay, so sorting machine acting as just pretty much an energy transmittal device at this stage of the game. Though I suppose it might be useful at another time. Okay, so arrows go into this package. Okay, so arrows should supposedly go into this one, even though it's not really going to do much, and might as well have another pneumatic tube there, just in case. And we will need one of these here, which means we will need to find ourselves on the other side of this. Once again, destroying my interior design like a boss, because I'm like that. I'm cool that way. Don't tell my mother I said that. Okay, sorry about the dog in the background that you may or may not have heard. If you didn't hear the dog, you might want to seek immediate medical attention. And that is not quite what I wanted to do, believe it or not. So let's make some quick patch overs. And it seems like my inventory is not being too convenient today. I have no idea why that is. Maybe it just doesn't like me. Sometimes I wonder that. So, just going a bit over here, we'll just put that slab over. Hey, I'm not trying to go for beauty, so this is just going to be a beast. And there. There. Just because. There. Okay, so this is connected and supposedly works functionally. I'm gonna cut quickly, or rather just go quickly to the other side of the base, try not to break anything else, and see you in a few. Okay, here we are. We're just going to set this so that it always pulls, which is what we want it to at, and this one goes here. Now this one will also want it to go continuous, but it will also be on an always pull state. This one, it doesn't matter what it's set at, that's how it's going to go. So let's go grab some of the dust that we are going to need to transmogrify. I don't know what I'm saying. We're going to need 5 dusts for each of them to work. So we'll go with that. Nothing else we currently need to dustify, so I think we're good. We'll add some other components later on as soon as we figure out whether this thing is actually working the way it's intended. So the idea is, so the single item that we want will go into here. So this will act as a huge ass filter. So say we have our single tiny pile of nickel dust. All nickel dust will by default go into here. No, it won't. That is kind of not intended. Nope, that is not what we want to do. Guess this sorting machine is acting as an energy transfer. I'll fix that soon enough. I'll figure out some sort of classy way to do things. Anyways, so let's get that back out of here and go with this instead. So nickel dust, one piece of nickel dust will act as one little bit for the reference part of this. So all tiny piles of nickel dust will go into this sorting machine. It will then go to the chest, which is over here, which will contain all the nickel dust and all the other tiny dust that may or may not be there. And then this sorting machine will pull 4 at a time, 4 nickel dust at a time, and throw them into the packager 4 at a time, so it'll turn to one single dust, and then that in turn will be pulled, thrown back in, and then just sorted as it normally is supposed to. This can be done with multiple dusts, and if we set this to non-sequence mode, such as this, I think would be correct. Any of them I think is correct, but this one I suppose will work. We can... okay, let me find out the correct mode, and then we should be good. This one? No, this is sorting for everyone. This has a default lane, but we don't actually have a default lane. So I'm going to go with this one. So anyone should be satisfied, assuming that it's actually working how it's supposed to. Okay, so if this works, that's good. If it doesn't, it's not so good. Imagine that. So we got tiny piles of copper dust. If we throw tiny piles of copper dust into the system and they work, that will mean that the system in general should work for every single dust. So how are we going to throw stuff into the system is going to be another problem. Maybe if we throw a relay right there, or an ejector. Yes, an ejector. I think we have one of those. Whatever. I'm gonna just go with the transposer because I'm cool like that. So we got a transposer. We'll manually input all of the stuff that we're meaning to input. I think I'll take all of you and maybe just put one in for son of a gun. Guys, we got iridium. That wasn't planned, but we got iridium. Okay, so we got a bit of that. Let's just throw in our... Okay, that is honestly one of the only times I can say that something not planned has completely thrown me through a loop. Okay, so not the good type of loop, the bad type. Okay, so it goes in and it's all transmogrificated and it's all getting packaged into the copper dust. Unfortunately, I think the copper dust will be jammed, as I see, because it's not added to the system that will allow it to be pink and friendly and all that. So pink stuff will need to go into here. Thanks, or rather the not so pink stuff. I don't know. Okay, so all the copper dust will go to the correct area. Let's throw this into here. That'll be good. And then we can do other things, obviously, for the glowstone and the nickel. I think nickel is correctly added to the system, at least in the form of other areas. So we got that. It seems like this is working. So what we can do is re-add this thing. No, wait, how much energy do we have throughout the entire system? This isn't hooked up to any sort of thing, so that might be a bit lossy. We'll worry about the addition of this, maybe just the moving of it. No, that won't work. Okay, so we got how many of these? We got 8, so that's not quite enough. We'll just need to add another 4 onto it. Okay. Can I take that? Let's see. We got 15 of these, so maybe I can just sell this up. Yes, I can. Okay, so we got diesel cells. Apparently this is diesel now, so I guess we'll go with that. We'll lose a total of 4 buckets, but then we'll be able to re-add it to the system. So with the addition of our now 12 diesel generators, we'll have a total of 144 EU Protect. That will be enough to constantly feed our MFEs up here, which will then constantly feed in our thing over here. So 144 EU Protect will be good, and we can throw all of our nice little stuff into here. With that, we'll get a bunch of tiny dust. That is going to be sure, but we will eventually get it to a point where we'll get a bit more better intake. So unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we'll be able to automatically harvest some of the good ones, because Greg is not planning to add any sort of silk touch ability to some stuff like this. So for instance, you won't be able to get an automatic mining well that will silk touch your tools for you, but that's perfectly understandable. So I'm going to throw in all of this uranium ore first of all, and then we'll see what type of dust we'll get from it. Then we can slowly but surely add them to the system. I think we will have enough. Let's see. That's holding steady. That's holding steady as well. Hopefully we'll have a bit of, well, steady enough. Okay, it is holding steady as she goes. So this does work. Now, are there any marked improvements that we can currently do other than making sure that it does not look like a garbled mess on the outside? That stuff I'm not too sure about, so we'll probably have to fill it up like so and hope that the neighbors don't notice us wrecking the mountain that we are currently inhabiting, because frankly the neighbors are not exactly the most pleasant sort of people, and I do not want to go onto their lawns. Yeah. That is not fun. And that is not fun either, because the fact that it's not... Okay, so let's see. We got some uranium dust. That, of all things, I thought would have been already selected in, though I suppose that is certainly okay that it's not. So we'll just have to make a few more barrels to transport all of the materials. So 7 barrels should be enough, and there will be some extra materials that will be up there. Dust, I think we'll put in our nice fancy dust chore. And wait a second, what's next? Tiny piles of plutonium dust. Hello? Okay, so let's put this here. There's our uranium dust, and it'll go there. Do we have anything else? Obviously, we can transmograte, did I really say that? Into some plutonium dust, and then we should be able to directly input this into some cells. In an automatic canning machine, it seems. It won't be in any sort of other thing like that. We also got some lazurite, which will be another useful ingredient, I so suppose. And there should be a mini dust with that, though. Let's first focus on getting these mini dusts added to the system, because as you can see, there are some other parts that will be added. So 4 of these and 1 of these. That'll be good. And let's just get you off the lawn, and there's another thing. Okay. So 5 of these will need to be added. Not there. Not there. And there will just be a bunch of general stuff like that that we will need to, unfortunately, accomplish. So some of that, there's some green sapphire as well. And we can just throw this stuff into here because it'll automatically get taken, I hope at least. Oh, crud! That's not in the mode that we'll need it in then. Let's grab that. We'll grab that temporarily and see... Okay, that's getting grabbed 4 at a time as well. This should be set so that it only grabs the exact quantity. So this might be the exact quantity. I'm not too sure. Okay, let's throw that. Okay, 4 at a time. That's good. And it's the exact quantity, so nothing else will be taken from there. That's good that we got that. Let's take this out as well. We're going to need to add that. And also add this to the system. Exact quantity, if you please, and throw this back into here, because that'll be nice as well. Guess this didn't get the memo. Exact quantity, please. Yes? Yes. Good. Now that we have that sorted out, I think I would like some tea. We got some zinc. Which one was the zinc from? That was probably from another random thing. But we also have some tin dust, which we're going to need to settle eventually. Do we have any tin repositories? Do we? We have some regular tin, but not any of the fancy stuff. So we got some plutonium dust. Now with the plutonium dust, we can put it over here, and we'll have some fancy plutonium that we'll be able to plutonium up the place with. Yay! So zinc. Do we have zinc? Is this zinc? Are you zinc? You are nickel. You are not zinc. Ha! What will they zinc? Oh, gosh, my sense of humor is horrible. Sorry, that's assuming I have a sense of humor. I'm gonna add a few more stuff to the system and then be done with this. Okay, I think I finally have set it up to the correct mode. It's the one with the the 3x3 squares. That should be all we need. So if we grab our gold dust, which we added to the system, we'll be able to see we might have some excess dust that we'll need to handle, such as iron dust, which is going to be a new one that's going to be added to our nice plethora of stuff. That's going to be a bit of a tricky situation, seeing as, well, I suppose we don't any longer need these here. So if we just quickly pulverize them, we should be good. So pulverize, 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 pulverize. It'll turn them into regular dust, and then we won't have to worry about that. Sapphire dust is yet another thing, which maybe should have a precious gems area. Let's see if there's anything else we can work on after we have this figured out, because I think we pretty much have it figured out. Okay, so it seems to me that our system is pretty much working as flawlessly as possible. We've got a huge plethora of stuff here which we can obviously sort, though it's not like it matters too much. And we got, let's see, we got entire row plus 2, that is 10. And we still have some more stuff going. So obviously this is working wonderfully. And, well, there are still probably going to be a few glitches that we need to iron out. That said, I am confident that we'll be able to see or meter out any sort of things like that. So, next episode, we'll either do something else entirely or eventually attempt to get some sort of other lasting power situation. Now that we got that easy thing solved, we can probably go and try to finally get that. Maybe go either iridium hunting or stronghold hunting. Um, it'd just probably be my luck if I went to go find the dang stronghold and it happened to be in the area that, where I set up my quarry. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EE Power. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. Wave Time here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.